Hey everybody, it's Kenny K here again, and I wanted to talk to you about who is the GOAT, the greatest of all time, final girl in the Friday the 13th franchise. Now I'm talking mainly from part 1 to 8, but actually leave the zombie Jason part out because the only one let's talk about it's more about part 1 to part 4, the final chapter, human Jason versus humans. Because if you look at a big new beginning, you got Pam, the counselor, Reggie, Tommy Jarvis. Then in Jason Lives, you have Heather, the daughter of the sheriff, and you've got Tommy Jarvis, but she's not really a final girl in my opinion. Then okay, in New Blood, you've got this actress, I never heard of her, called Lar Park Lincoln. It's Tina, but she uh, if she went up against a human Jason, and I think even when she really wanted it, she could implode Jason with her telekinetic powers. She almost does because at some point his head starts to get crushed like a melon. You see the goo coming from you know from out of his head. The straps just they burst loose from the mask, and the mask just burst in pieces. And he then we see, by the way, that's the only moment we see Jason giving us a vocal reaction. Then he yells, "Ah!" This because he's angry. But I mean, Tina, it's you can compare Tina, Jean Grey from the X-Men versus the Hulk. That's basically it. Jean Grey versus the Hulk. If you want to see that, then you better can see X-Men. So Tina is, yes, she is the strongest final girl, but she didn't really have to do a lot for it to subdue him, right? And even at Jason, zombie Jason. So, and then you have Jason Takes Manhattan. You have two survivors, again, a final girl, a final boy, but then you have that shit with the toxic waste that apparently every time at midnight runs through New York, so toxic that it just dissipates you. And I don't believe that happens in New York. If that happens, oh my, that's one of the unhealthiest cities in the world. Now, so I actually wanted to talk to you with the first four. You got Ginny, played by Amy Steele. So the first one, sorry, let's go from the first one. You got Adrienne King playing Alice in Friday 13 Part 1. You've got Ginny from Part 2, played by Amy Steele. You got Chris, played by Dana Kimmel in Part 3, Part 3D. And you've got Trish from the final chapter of Part 4, Kimberly Beck, played by Kimberly Beck. Okay, these four. Okay, these four we're gonna concentrate on. Now, for me, one is already off the table, and that's Alice. Boom, get the fuck away. She is my least favorite. She does stupid things. Now, listen, if you see Halloween and you have got Laurie Strode, and she puts a fucking a sewing needle in Michael's neck, then yeah, she would think he's dead, right? And then I can excuse her for thinking he's dead. Normal being would be dead. Then dropping a knife, going to the kids, then getting attacked again, and then punctured in the eyeball, being punctured, and then stabbed in the heart again. This time he's really dead, but how could she know he's supernatural and he's unkillable, even with the 6 slugs that Loomis puts in him? But but Alice, Adrienne King's character, when she goes toe to toe with Betsy Palmer, Mrs. Voorhees, I don't know how old is she, in her 50s, 60s, I'm not sure. She I mean, she swaps her away like a fly, like 2 times. Then at the third time, she hits her with a skill. She gets to kill her 3 times. It's obvious she wants to kill her, and it's obvious there's no way out of that camp. Or you gotta run into the bushes, but you can. I mean, she knows that area better than Alice, I think. So she, first time she swaps her like this, and she's like, oh, and then she is doing, and then she goes after her. Then again, she is throwing everything she got, the rifle, because she had a rifle. And I'm thinking to myself, but what kind of bullets would they use? Would they use a pellet gun? What's gonna pellet gun gonna do against a human being? I'm not sure, but I don't think that would stop Pamela Voorhees. But she throws the gun at her, and then she starts to slap her, but then she again takes something and hits her with it, and she's like, oh. Again, she's lying there. Again, take the coup de grace. No, she goes to hide in the pantry. She, Mrs. Voorhees goes through the door with the machete, like Jack Torrance in The Shining, with her head passing through and opening the doorknob. She tries to hit her, but Alice has a skillet, and she's hits her in the head. This time she's really knocked out because she's bleeding from it. Still, she doesn't. She drops the skillet. There's a machete right next to her. She thinks she's dead. Yeah, one skillet hit and she's dead. Okay, it's frustrating, Alice. Really frustrating. And if you say, okay, she always defeated her when she attacked her, because she never went on the offense but on the defense. But Pamela Voorhees was, I mean, she's portrayed like she's a superhuman killer. If you see how she offed everybody else, that little people still think that Jason was helping her killing people, and I'm starting to believe this fact, that she didn't know or did know, I'm not sure, and that she was just fucked up in the head and worked together with her son. But even then, I don't think she would have known, because she said, you killed my son, you killed my son. So but maybe he was helping her, who knows, because how she's neutralized like this. And believe me, Alice was like this girl. I mean, she was like a little mouse, because at some point in the movie she's slapping her. Mrs. Voorhees is slapping her, and in behind the scenes she was crying because she got slapped in the face. What the fuck? She was one of the only more experienced actors, except of course Betsy Palmer being the main actor, the star basically. She was the most expensive, but they only had to use her for the last 15 minutes. Okay, so Alice is definitely the least favorable. She dies in the second one. I don't think that was a bad choice. She had to go sometime. I mean, yeah. Then you have, now of course, forgetting about the sad situation she had is with the extreme stalker. Okay, that I don't want to trash the woman, but in the movie, the character Alice, no fucking way she could let her be killed with an ice pick, with that weird kill scene that she gets a nose piercing through her. The ice pick picks through the nose, and the picks through the head, the cheek, I think, and it goes through the nose, like a nose that she gets a nose piercing. It's really weird. There's no blood too, no blood. but that's the uncut version, right? That's the undeleted, I mean, extended Goyer. She cuts off her kill, her death. Now let's go to Amy Steele and Ginny. Now Ginny. Now there's this debate. Okay, let's. I'm gonna. I think a lot of people will say that number two would be Chris, Dana Kimmel from Friday the 13th part 3. But if you look at it, and I'll put some pictures of what she does, she stabs Jason multiple times. She's attacking him. She's always going, although that's going on the offensive, because most final girls don't go on the offensive. They're only like Trish going on the offense means okay, she this is a defensive offensive, but offensive means, and let me tell you later what this means, that you can escape, you can run away, but you decide not to. So Chris starts to slash her way towards him and stabs him in the leg. Then I believe she hits him with a shovel. Then first with the car, she puts his hands between the window. She rolls it shut, so he's stuck. So he has to pull his head through. You see him limping. Then she survives the entire rape ordeal. What the fuck that would have been, but okay, she survives that. She hits him with a shovel on the head. Then she hangs him, and then she, for shits and giggles, puts an axe in his head. So she puts a lot of punishment in this guy. Now Trish does that too, with the exception that she, of course, and that's a handicap in a way, she has to protect her brother, Tommy. So she's stuck with him and has to protect him. Now she at some point attacks Jason with a hammer. She then attacks him, of course, with a television set when he's trying to go through Tommy's room. Boom. And then the hammer is for letting Tommy loose because he had Tommy. And then you have the cool scene with the machete that she's trying to, hit him, and she hits him between the fingers and basically splicing his hand. And that's the only thing that she does after that. I believe that's the only notable thing she does. I think she knocks off his mask, but Tommy gets the kill, right? Now, Tommy eventually saved her ass because he did the same thing what Ginny did at the end. She knew, let's say that Ginny was a smart and fighter. She had fighting in her. She's smart, and Trish wasn't. She was more trying to run away, trying to lure Jason away from Tommy. But I'm gonna tell you something. I don't think Jason. I'm thinking, did he ever killed a kid in the movies? Because in my opinion, Jason is not a kid killer. Because Jason is a man-child. He still thinks of him as a child, even as a zombie. When he hangs above the little cute blonde girl, he's hanging over her, and she's like, oh, she's super cute, and he's like doing like this, but he's not getting his knife out. He's just looking at her, and then he looks. He sees her multiple times. He doesn't do her a damn thing. She finds his machete at some point, and it, the counselors think it's a prank, but she doesn't do jack shit to her and to the other kids. When he crashes through, he doesn't attack the kids. So I'm thinking, would he attack Tommy Jarvis? He had the chance. So he had the chance between Trish, who can run away and make it more difficult for him, or attack Tommy, who is cornered. All right. If I was that kid killer, I would go after Tommy because he's cornered, and then go after Trish. And I think if he would go after Tommy, Trish would go after Jason, trying to attack him, and she would be killed, and then Tommy would be killed. You know. So you got that, and when she's eventually running away, she doesn't do jack shit to him. She even jumps through a fucking window. Surprised that she didn't die, because one of the twins is thrown out the window. Okay, she falls on a car, but it's like 1 story high. I'm thinking, is that so high to really squash the car in half? I mean, usually people that fall from a fucking high-rise building smashes car in like flattens a car, but from a 1-story building, okay, weird. But then, like I said, and so the entire thing I'm trying to say here is, Ginny does something that none other of these girls do. So okay, you have the mindfuck at the end, which she does, pretending to be his mom, because she knew about if he's still alive, he would be that old. She knew everything about Jason. She was analyzing him. But then we get this scene. She attacks him with a chainsaw. The problem was the chainsaw was out of oil, so it stopped. She attacked him. And there's this one moment, and that's the moment that I'm thinking, okay, none of these final girls did that. So she's escaping through the woods, and instead of running, she just waits behind a bush, right? And eventually she waits for him to pass by. He has a pitchfork, so he has a weapon. She waits for him to pass by and kick him in the balls, right straight to the nuts. I mean, that's cool, right? That's being a tough lady hombre, right? I mean, come on. That's none of these final girls do that. Waiting when she can run away everywhere, waiting for him to come, and then bam, right in the chesticles. I mean, come on, this that's something that made Ginny for me number 1, and so she's number 1. I just, not only the fact that Amy Steele, in my opinion, was the best actress, in my opinion, and the fact that she could go toe to toe with Jason, she could mindfuck him, and yeah, I don't know. I also have this extra picture here of I think it's a rehearsal scene when Jason jumps through the window, but it's a rehearsal scene because you clearly can see Ginny's wearing a jacket, and you can see Jason's deformed head, but it looks like Jason without a beard and without hair, so it looks like the good Jason that we see in part 3, the bald Jason. Yeah, I'll put that picture up. So who's number 2 and number 3 then? In my opinion, I gotta say Chris. she's the worst actress in my opinion from them all, because she's constantly whining. But I mean, if she was attacked by this guy and raped by this guy and survived that, and then again he's playing mind tricks with her, because after he's hanged, he takes the mask off and laughs at her, knowing, you remember me, bitch? Time for round two. This time, up the ass. I mean, it's just it's. I think Chris is probably. I mean, she already had PTSD, so she had to confront her fears, and she didn't. She couldn't. She had no choice. That's the thing. So Trish did a lot to protect Tommy from him, but eventually hit him with the head. The machete thing, yeah, but she loses machete, and it's eventually Tommy who saves her ass, right? Because if Tommy wasn't there, she wouldn't. Jason wouldn't. I mean, would have killed Trish, and that would be it. But that's what I'm saying. Trish is number 3 and Chris is number 2. And Chris number 2, and then so Alice number 4, Trish number 3, Chris number 2 is Chris number 2, and Jenny number 1. I stay with my she's one of the best final girls there is. Sorry to say this. She does do little damage than the others, because Chris and Trish do more damage to him, but she does do damage. She does do a little bit of damage to him, and she's waiting behind the trees and just waiting for him. She can't escape. She's like, oh no, I'm not gonna run from you, you son of a bitch. Bam! Right in the cojones. I mean, that's ballsy. Figuratively ballsy from her. I mean, to do that. So that's why I prefer Ginny, Amy Steele. And like I said, Chris, her acting wasn't that good, but she did a lot of damage to Jason. She hit him with a shovel. She attacked him with a knife. The knife that she pulled off from her pregnant friend there. She puts him with his hands between the windows so he can get. He's momentarily trapped. She waits for him in the barn. Then okay, she falls on him, but she still can't escape. While he's going after her with the machete, she puts this bale of hay over the ladder. When she goes up the ladder, she puts a bale of hay. He pushes the bale of hay away, but then you see her attacking with a shovel, putting something around his neck. He was still back conscious, but she still kicked him over the edge. You see him hanging. Then you see the axe in his fucking face. Now, of course, this was thanks to the bikers. Again, it's like Chris and Trish were saved by somebody else, basically. Now I'm forgetting that Trish put the knife in Jason's head and that it slit, or was it Tommy? So that's what I'm forgetting. But Chris and Trish were saved by somebody else, and Chris saved by the motorcycle guy, and then because he attacks Jason, and then Trish and Chris uses that for her advantage, and then Trish being saved by her brother using this psychological mindfuck, and then I believe she hits his mask off, and then I think it's Tommy who does the coup de grace. It's hard to say. It is the thing with Dana Kimmel was I like Kimberly Beck's acting better than Dana Kimmel. But in my opinion, Dana Kimmel did more damage and then being raped before by him. So yeah, I'm gonna stay with that. I'm gonna stay with that. I understand Trish had the extra baggage, but I'm saying it, and I'm still saying it again. I don't think Jason is interested in killing kids. No, don't think so. So I mean, there you go. And it proves that he doesn't kill kids because when he snips his hair off and he thinks it's him, it's again a kid. So he's really thinking of him again as he's the man child, believing that that's him. He thinks that's his look, although he's fucked up, a bear of a man, but fucked up with a mask. But he believes that's him in his mind, in his fucked up mind. But so let me know who your goat is. Is it Jenny, Alice, Chris, or Trish? And if you don't agree with me, fine. Maybe give me a reason why, so I can. It's always nice because you guys can change my mind. Yeah, you guys can change my mind. If some of these girls had a certain handicap that they had for to attack the killers, but so leave a comment, like the video if you like it, and subscribe if you didn't do that yet. It's free, and see you next time for some interesting reviews and topics. Bye bye.